There are plenty of jobs waiting to be done in the garden right now, but the rain has been coming and going for days now. The wind hasn't eased up much either, and to be honest, this hasn't inspired me to do any gardening jobs at all. All this has also reminded me how different every growing season can be. Looking back at footage from this exact time last year, the garden almost feels like a completely different place. The weather was warmer, the growth was much further ahead, and many of the jobs were already changing from plants just settling in to simply trying to keep up with them. The beds were fuller and the foliage was denser. My time was taken up by cutting back spent growth, tying things in and trying to stop plants from overwhelming their neighbours. So it's good to remind ourselves that every season eventually develops in its own pace. The plants don't know what happened last year, they only respond to the conditions they're given. So while it's tempting to compare one season to another, one year to another, the reality is that this year's garden is writing its own story. It just happens to be taking a little bit longer to get there. But even when I'm not actively gardening, the garden itself keeps moving forward. So I'm hoping a really quick look around the garden before catching up with a few small jobs in the greenhouse will help me stay connected to what's actually happening out here. The apple trees are carrying a lot of fruit this year, and before long they'll start their sort of natural tune drop. It's essentially a way for the tree to decide for itself how much fruit it can realistically support, but afterwards I usually go through the branches myself as well and thin a little further if needed. Not everything is looking quite so promising though. While the carrots have survived, the same can't really be said for some of the mixed annual flowers. And it's a very similar sight of missing leaves, and there's just tiny stem stumps left behind. So there's very little evidence of what was actually responsible, but something definitely has been helping itself. Thankfully, the brassicas are looking so much happier. The broccoli, cabbages and Brussels sprouts all seem to be enjoying the cooler weather. The leaves have good colour, they're putting on plenty of growth, and the netting is doing its job. And once the cabbage butterflies start appearing in greater numbers, I'll be really glad that those nets are already in place. One of my favourite discoveries today is seeing the first flower opening on the perennial cosmos. It's still early days, but it's always satisfying seeing a plant reach that milestone. And hidden beneath the leaves here are also a few strawberries beginning to show themselves. Really small reminders that summer is still moving forward, even if the weather doesn't always feel like it. Thankfully, there are plenty of happier sights as well, and I'm delighted to see so many borage seedlings appearing around the garden. This is exactly why I like to grow them. Rather than constantly sowing more seed, nature often does most of the work for me. And then eventually I'll probably end up moving a lot of these seedlings into the field beds where they can definitely establish themselves much more naturally. The chard and beetroot seem perfectly content regardless of what the weather decides to do. Some vegetables just get on with things, and I always appreciate plants like that. One crop that seems completely unfazed by the weather is the Jerusalem artichokes or sunchokes. Every year I'm surprised by how quickly they put on growth. They're already approaching my own height now, and the leaves are looking lush and healthy. Standing beside them, you'd never think we were dealing with such a cool and unsettled start to summer. The yacon, on the other hand, is telling a very different story. It is alive. there is some new growth coming, but it's nowhere near where I'd normally expect it to be now. The cool spring has definitely held it back. So that's one crop I'll be keeping a close eye on over the next few weeks. And I just hope that a little warmth will soon make up for the lost time. It's amazing how quickly conditions can change. Only a couple of weeks ago, the seedlings were desperately in need of watering daily, as now they're drowning in it. Unfortunately, the wet weather isn't the only problem I've discovered on this walk. The gooseberries have once again attracted sawfly. Last year we hardly harvested any gooseberries at all. Between the sawfly, the hens and the blackbirds, there wasn't much left for us. And looking at the bushes now, I'm not feeling particularly optimistic. The garden birds don't seem to be interested in the larvae, but let's test it on the girls. Do you like some soft life larvae? Do you like some larvae, perhaps? No? Come on, puppy. You'd like it, surely. Well, there's your verdict. The hens won't touch them either. Once they start shaking their heads, nothing will get them to eat those. Now, before Snowy and I get any wetter than we already are, I think it's time to retreat into the greenhouse and see how everything is in there. It's horrible outside, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It's not nice. It's not nice. Now, before I can start potting anything up, I first need to reclaim a little bit of working space. The greenhouse always seems to collect empty pots, regardless of the time of the year, but especially now when every plant gets moved into something larger, but the old pots somehow never quite make it back to where they're supposed to live. So a quick tidy up now will make the next job a lot easier. Unfortunately, the weather forecast also shows rain for the following weekend, so I don't know how much gardening or planting out I can do, but the remaining squashes and pumpkins, the leaves are still so distinctly yellow, and they have also filled their seedling pots with their roots so well, and because of that I don't want to leave them really in these small pots. I'm going to pot them up. At least this gives the plants fresh compost, a little more root space and also a little extra time while we wait for the conditions to improve. And whenever I pot up plants like this, I like to mix some fertilizer through the compost as well, and once these plants start growing properly, they really need all the nutrition available to them. The roots are healthy and filling the compost nicely, which is always a good sign. And at this point, I'm not really trying to encourage huge amounts of growth just yet. I simply want to keep them moving forward without becoming stressed or root bound while we wait for better weather. A slightly larger pot and some fresh compost usually buys a plant a few extra weeks quite comfortably. And hopefully by the time they fill these pots, the garden outside will be a much more welcoming place for them. The cucumbers have been a little bit disappointing so far. They're still quite small and haven't really shown the vigorous growth I'd normally expect. Looking at the roots though, there are signs of promise. So rather than giving up on them, I'll give them the same treatment and a little bit more time, and just hope again that some warmer weather will help them find their stride. The peppers and chillies I planted last week seem so much happier though. They've settled in well and are already looking really comfortable in their new positions. The tomatoes are looking healthy too. There are still a few waiting to be potted up, but unfortunately I've reached the point where the compost supply has run out before the jobs have, so that one task will have to wait a little longer. The sun keeps trying to break through, but every time it looks promising, another shower arrives a few minutes later. Despite the weather though, it's reassuring to see that things are still moving forward.